Your personal history shapes who you become, and sometimes the places where you were born and raised quietly guide your destiny. For Tom Hanks, there were two important beginnings in his life, two places that helped shape the man the world would later admire. For nearly 4 decades, Tom Hanks and Rita Wilson were seen as one of Hollywood's strongest and most loving couples. They were married for 37 years and survived serious health scares, including cancer and COVID-19, along with constant pressure from the media. Many people believed their marriage was unbreakable and that they had discovered the secret to lasting love in an industry known for broken relationships. However, in 2025, their divorce was finalized, and the news shocked fans everywhere. As more details became public, questions began to rise about money, loyalty, and private family struggles. A memoir written by their daughter opened old wounds and revealed painful memories that had been hidden for years. People began asking what truly happened behind closed doors and why a marriage that seemed so strong slowly fell apart without anyone noticing. Tom Hanks was born on July 9, 1956, in Concord, California. The town was quiet and ordinary, but his life would eventually become extraordinary. His mother, Janet, worked long hours in a hospital and often came home tired. His father, Amos, worked as a cook and moved from job to job, searching for better opportunities. Tom came from a family with mixed roots. His mother's family had Portuguese ancestry, and their original last name had been Fraga. His father had English roots, and through family history, Tom later discovered distant connections to Nancy Hanks, the mother of President Abraham Lincoln, and even to Fred Rogers, the gentle television host he would one day portray in a film. Tom's family did not have much money. With 4 children to raise, his parents struggled to provide stability. When Tom was only 5 years old, his parents divorced in 1962. The divorce changed everything. Tom and his 2 older siblings went to live with their father, while his younger brother Jim stayed with their mother. This separation created distance between the siblings, especially between Tom and Jim, and that gap remained for many years. Both of Tom's parents remarried, and with each new marriage came new stepfamilies. Tom moved frequently, adjusting to different homes, schools, and neighborhoods. By the time he was 10 years old, he had lived in 10 different houses across Northern California. The constant moving made him feel like an outsider. He was always the new kid in school, learning to adapt quickly before it was time to move again. His family followed his father's cooking jobs from city to city, including Sacramento, Red Bluff, San Francisco, Oakland, and even Reno. Tom later joked that he moved every 6 months, and it almost felt true. Finally, in the late 1960s, the family settled in Oakland, California, on Harbor View Avenue in the Redwood Heights neighborhood. For the first time, Tom stayed in one place long enough to feel somewhat stable. He attended John Swett Elementary School, Bret Hart Junior High School, and later Skyline High School. It was at Skyline that he discovered his love for acting. A drama teacher named Raleigh Farnsworth noticed his talent and encouraged him to participate in school plays. Stepping onto the stage changed something inside him. Acting gave him confidence and a sense of belonging that he had not felt before. Years later, Tom donated $125,000 to help restore the theater at Skyline High School to honor the place where his dream began. Despite this more stable period, life was still challenging. During his senior year of high school, Tom moved out of his father's home and stayed with a church family. He worked as a bellhop at the Oakland Hilton to support himself. Growing up in a broken and constantly changing household forced Tom to mature quickly. He and his siblings often came home to empty apartments and learned to manage on their own. Several times a year, they traveled long distances by bus to visit whichever parent they were scheduled to see. These constant changes left emotional marks on Tom, shaping how he later raised his own children. Years later, some of that childhood pain resurfaced through the memoir written by his daughter Elizabeth. She described feelings of confusion, love, and instability that reminded Tom of his own early years. The past had a way of echoing into the future. After high school, Tom attended Chabot College in Hayward. One evening, he watched a performance of The Iceman Cometh, and the experience deeply moved him. Seeing actor Joe Spano on stage inspired Tom in a powerful way. He transferred to California State University, Sacramento, but his focus remained on acting. In 1977, he joined a summer theater program. During one production, he met Vincent Dowling from the Great Lakes Shakespeare Festival. Dowling recognized Tom's talent and offered him an internship in Cleveland, Ohio. Tom earned only $45 a week and did every task required, from carrying props to adjusting lights. The work was difficult, but he learned everything he could about theater. Eventually, he left college to fully commit to acting and spent 3 summers in Cleveland improving his skills. The theater became his true classroom. In 1980, Tom's career took a big step forward when he was cast in the television sitcom Bosom Buddies. The show brought him national attention. In 1981, Rita Wilson appeared as a guest star on the show. At the time, there was no romance between them, but they felt a natural connection. They met again in 1985 on the set of the movie Volunteers, and this time their bond was much stronger. At that point, Tom was married to his college sweetheart, Samantha Lewis. They had married in 1978 after welcoming their son Colin in 1977. Their daughter Elizabeth was born in 1982. Samantha also pursued acting while Tom worked hard to build his career. In 1984, he starred in the film Splash alongside Daryl Hannah. The movie was a major success, earning nearly $70 million and establishing Tom as a leading actor in Hollywood. In 1988, he starred in Big, a film that became one of his most famous roles. The scene where he danced on a giant piano in a toy store became iconic. The movie earned more than $100 million and brought him his first Academy Award nomination. Tom was no longer just a television actor, he had become a respected film star. However, success brought new challenges. His growing career placed stress on his marriage to Samantha. Long work hours and time away from home created distance between them. By 1985, they separated, and their divorce was finalized in 1987. Samantha received primary custody of their children, while Tom remained involved in their lives through visits and financial support. 1 year after his divorce, Tom married Rita Wilson. Their relationship seemed strong and loving. They built a life together and faced challenges side by side. In 2001, tragedy struck when Samantha was diagnosed with bone cancer. Although she and Tom were no longer married, he supported her fully, arranging top medical care and paying for her treatments. Despite surgeries and therapy, the cancer spread quickly. Samantha passed away on March 12, 2002, at the age of 49. Her death deeply affected their children, Colin and Elizabeth. While Tom continued his life with Rita, Rita's own story began long before they met. She was born Margarita Ibrahimoff on October 26, 1956, in Hollywood, California. Her mother came from the Greek community in southern Albania, and her father had roots in Greece, Bulgaria, and Turkey. Before marrying her mother, her father converted to Orthodox Christianity and later changed his name to Alan Wilson in 1960. Rita grew up surrounded by a rich cultural background that shaped her identity and values. Over the years, Tom and Rita became known for their strong partnership. They worked together, supported each other's careers, and appeared united in public. They overcame serious challenges, including Rita's battle with breast cancer and both of them contracting COVID-19 during the early days of the pandemic. Their ability to stand together during difficult times made their eventual divorce even more surprising. When news of their separation became public in 2025, fans struggled to understand how such a lasting marriage could end. Reports suggested disagreements over finances and long-standing family tensions. Elizabeth's memoir revealed emotional struggles that had been kept private. The image of the perfect Hollywood marriage slowly faded as more details emerged. For decades, Tom Hanks had built a reputation not only as a talented actor but also as a kind and grounded man. Rita Wilson was admired for her strength, talent, and loyalty. Together, they seemed to represent stability in a world of constant change. Yet even strong foundations can develop cracks over time. Their story reminded people that no relationship is immune to pressure, no matter how perfect it may appear from the outside. Tom's early life of constant moving, family separation, and emotional uncertainty may have shaped the way he approached love and family. Rita's rich cultural upbringing gave her strength and independence. Their journey together included joy, success, heartbreak, illness, and loss. In the end, their divorce did not erase the years they shared or the family they built. It simply marked the closing of one chapter in lives that had already experienced many changes. Behind the fame and public smiles were two human beings shaped by complicated pasts and personal struggles. Their story shows that even the most admired marriages can face challenges that remain hidden from the world. Sometimes destiny begins in quiet places, shaped by childhood homes and early experiences. And sometimes, even love that lasts for decades can slowly change in ways no one expects. Rita grew up in a home filled with Greek traditions, music, and language. Inside their house in the Hollywood Hills, everything felt connected to her family's culture. She often said that she felt completely American while she was at school, but the moment she stepped through her front door, she felt Greek again. Her father spoke many languages fluently, and his ability to move between cultures later inspired Tom when he prepared for his role in The Terminal. Rita even helped him learn some Bulgarian phrases so he could perform the part more realistically. Culture, language, and faith were not small details in her life. They shaped how she saw the world and how she understood family. Rita entered the entertainment world at a young age. When she was 14, she began modeling, and by 16 she had earned her SAG card, officially becoming part of the Actors Union. In 1972, she made her television debut on The Brady Bunch, playing a cheerleader named Pat Conway. That small role opened the door to many others. Over the years, she appeared in popular shows like MASH, Three's Company, and later Frasier, where she brought humor and depth to her characters. She worked consistently and built a steady career in both comedy and drama. She was never just a background figure. She created her own place in Hollywood step by step. Music was always close to her heart. As a teenager, she sang in a folk group at her church and dreamed of becoming a recording artist. Living near the Hollywood Bowl made those dreams feel possible. She even worked as a ticket taker at the Universal Amphitheater, which allowed her to watch famous performers for free. She listened carefully to every song and imagined herself standing on stage one day. Although acting became her main focus for many years, her love for music never faded. In 2012, at the age of 56, Rita finally released her first album. It was a dream she had carried since she was a young girl, listening to artists like Joni Mitchell, Carole King, and James Taylor. She proved that it is never too late to follow a passion. Music became another way for her to express herself, separate from her acting career. Tom Hanks first met Rita Wilson in 1981 on the set of Bosom Buddies. She appeared in one episode called All You Need Is Love, playing a quirky character with a strange personality. The role was funny and allowed her to show her playful side. When Tom saw her, he immediately felt something special. However, he was married to Samantha Lewis at the time, so both he and Rita kept their feelings private. They remained friendly and professional. The show only lasted 2 years, and Rita appeared in just one episode, but the memory of that meeting stayed with both of them. Several years later, they met again while filming Volunteers in 1984. This time, the connection between them was stronger. The film was released in 1985 and starred Tom as Lawrence Bourne III, a privileged man who joins the Peace Corps to escape a gambling debt. Rita played Beth Wexler, a serious and determined volunteer who initially disliked his character. As they worked together, their chemistry became clear to everyone around them. Even their co-star noticed how naturally they connected. Tom later said that when they looked at each other, something powerful happened inside both of them. They could no longer ignore what they were feeling. By that time, Tom's marriage to Samantha was already struggling. His growing career required long hours and frequent travel. In 1985, Tom and Samantha separated. Their children, Colin and Elizabeth, stayed mainly with their mother, while Tom visited them on weekends and holidays. After a year apart, Tom and Rita appeared together publicly in December 1986 at the premiere of Nothing in Common. His divorce was finalized in 1987, and he was finally free to fully commit to Rita. Tom later explained in an interview with Oprah Winfrey that timing and maturity made all the difference in his relationship with Rita. Before marrying her, he made an important decision. In 1988, he converted from Roman Catholicism to the Greek Orthodox faith. He said he did this out of deep respect for Rita and her family's traditions. Her connection to the Greek Orthodox Church was strong, and Tom wanted them to share the same spiritual foundation. He became an active member of St. Sophia Cathedral in Los Angeles, attending services regularly and supporting the church community. When their sons, Chester and Truman, were born, they were baptized in the same church where Rita had been baptized. For Tom, faith became a source of comfort and stability. He once said that the Greek Orthodox tradition felt like a true home for his beliefs. Tom and Rita were married on April 30, 1988, in a beautiful Greek Orthodox ceremony at St. Sophia Cathedral. Their wedding reception was held at Rex Il Ristorante in Los Angeles. Rita wore a short wedding dress that reflected the fashion of the late 1980s, and Tom looked relaxed and happy beside her. It was Rita's first marriage, and she was 31 years old at the time. Their wedding marked the beginning of what many people believed would be one of Hollywood's strongest marriages. Soon after, Tom's career reached new heights. In 1994, he won his first Academy Award for his role in Philadelphia. He played Andrew Beckett, a lawyer dying of AIDS. To prepare for the role, Tom lost more than 25 pounds and studied the illness carefully. He met with AIDS patients to understand their experiences. When he accepted his Oscar, he thanked his high school drama teacher and honored a former classmate who had died of AIDS. The film was released at a time when AIDS was still widely misunderstood, and his performance carried deep meaning. The following year, he won his second Academy Award for Forrest Gump. Winning back-to-back Oscars placed him among a small group of actors in film history. Forrest Gump became one of the highest-grossing films of its time, earning hundreds of millions worldwide. Instead of accepting a large upfront salary, Tom chose to receive a percentage of the profits. That decision reportedly earned him tens of millions of dollars. In 1995, he starred in Apollo 13, playing astronaut Jim Lovell. Preparing for the role required intense training. He and his co-stars practiced in spacecraft simulators and even experienced weightlessness on a special plane. For Tom, who had admired astronauts since childhood, this role fulfilled a lifelong dream. He also became a leading figure in romantic comedies. Sleepless in Seattle and You've Got Mail, both directed by Nora Ephron and co-starring Meg Ryan, were major successes. Audiences loved his warmth and natural charm. In 1995, he also began voicing Woody in Toy Story. At the time, Pixar was a new studio, and computer animation was still developing. Tom earned a modest salary for the first film, but as the series grew, so did his earnings. Woody became one of the most beloved animated characters in history. While Tom's career flourished, Rita continued building her own achievements. She played an important role in bringing My Big Fat Greek Wedding to life. After watching Nia Vardalos perform her one-woman show, Rita recognized its potential. She encouraged Tom's production company to support the project. Despite pressure to cast a more famous actress, Rita insisted that Nia star in the film. The movie became a massive success and one of the highest-grossing independent films ever made. Rita also pursued her music career seriously in her 50s, releasing several albums and even performing for President Barack Obama in 2014. She made her Broadway debut in 2006 in Chicago, playing Roxy Hart. Her career included acting, producing, writing, directing, and singing. In 2019, she received Greek citizenship in recognition of her contributions and support for Greece. In 2015, Rita faced a serious health challenge when she was diagnosed with invasive lobular carcinoma, a type of breast cancer. After receiving conflicting biopsy results, she sought a second opinion, which confirmed the cancer. In April 2015, she underwent a bilateral mastectomy and reconstruction surgery. Tom stayed by her side throughout the entire process. She later said she felt grateful to have a husband who made her feel safe during such a frightening time. Fortunately, she did not need chemotherapy or radiation. In March 2020, Rita celebrated 5 years cancer-free. Around the same time, she and Tom became some of the first well-known celebrities to announce they had tested positive for COVID-19 while in Australia. They were there for filming related to an Elvis Presley movie. Rita had performed at the Sydney Opera House shortly before they learned of their diagnosis. They spent several days in a hospital in Queensland and then quarantined in a rented home. Their public announcement helped bring attention to the seriousness of the virus during its early days. In April 2025, Tom's daughter Elizabeth released her memoir, The 10. In the book, she described painful childhood experiences, including emotional and physical abuse she said she endured while living with her mother, Samantha. She also wrote about neglect during certain years. After a violent incident in 1996, custody changed, and she moved to Los Angeles to live with Tom, Rita, and her brothers. The memoir received strong reviews and opened honest conversations about family struggles. Tom later said he was not surprised that his daughter had the courage to tell her truth. He did not publicly challenge her version of events. Throughout his career, Tom also faced occasional controversies. In 2009, he received criticism after commenting on a political issue, but he later clarified and apologized for his words. Despite such moments, his reputation as a respected actor remained strong. For Tom and Rita, faith continued to anchor their marriage. They regularly attended Greek Orthodox services, especially during Holy Week. Tom often said that maturity and emotional readiness are important for marriage. He admitted that he married too young the first time and believed people should wait until they are older and more prepared. Greece became like a second home for them. In 2020, they were granted Greek citizenship in recognition of their support after devastating wildfires. They own a home on the island of Antiparos and spend time there with family and friends. Tom has said that although he has traveled all over the world, Greece feels especially meaningful to him. Over the years, they celebrated anniversaries with Greek-themed parties filled with music and joy. Their life together included success, faith, illness, recovery, family challenges, and public attention. Through it all, they built a partnership that many admired for decades.